I feel you in the wind, I see you in the trees. Everywhere I look, I feel your heartbeat. Majestic mountains high, in every drop of rain. All of this just shows me how much you love me. I am amazed by your beauty and your bounty. I am amazed by your constant care for me. I am amazed by your beauty and your bounty. I am amazed by your endless grace for me. In every drop of dew, the rustling of the leaves, the chirping of the birds, a perfect symphony. The smell of the flowers, the richness of the soil, the sweetness of the fruit that satisfies. I am amazed by the symphony of your creation. I am amazed by your omnipresence. I am amazed by your beauty and your bounty. I am amazed by your endless grace for me. From a firefly to a shooting star, to the song the cricket sings, from the raging seas to the placid lakes, to the bubbling of the stream, from the rays I feel, from the rising sun to the stillness of the night. I am amazed by your beauty and your bounty. I am amazed by your constant love for me. I am amazed by your beauty and your bounty. I am amazed by your beauty and your bounty.
Good morning. I hope that I'm being heard clearly and I'm being seen clearly. It's a different background if you noticed. I just decided to let the natural sunlight come in. And so on this Thursday, on a Stories for Better Normal, we will have the part 3 of our webinar discussions. Sabihin na natin mga storya tungkol sa mga kwentong buhay ng ating mga micro-enterprises, ng mga naapektuhan ng pandemya, ng mga nagsusurvive sa panahon ng pandemya. Dati pinag-uusapan natin yung mga nagtatanim sa mga likod ng bahay, sa ating backyard, sa ating mga farms. Pinag-usapan natin yung maayos na pagtatanim gaya ng organic agriculture, permaculture. Pinag-usapan din natin yung mga hamon ng mga frontliners at yung pangangailangan na magbigay ng sustainable mobility o yung paggamit ng bisikleta o yung solo-solong sasakyan para makapunta sa trabaho. Pinag-uusapan din natin ang ating mga work from home na pagbabago sa ating buhay. Gaya ako. Yan, nagsasak ako, hindi perfecto dahil ako ang technical director, ako na rin ang director, at producer, at saka lightman, at ka-natural light. Pero sa araw na ito, napaka-espesyal. Sa bagay, lahat naman ng Stories for a Better Normal ay napaka-espesyal dahil nandito ang ating mga pinaka-espesyal sa akin na mga weavers and artisans. Ang mga pinakamagagaling na designers, maaring hindi sa mga cities at hindi sa mga boutique at hindi sa mga tindahan, sa kanilang mga tahanan, sa kanilang mga barangay at lugar, ay pupuntahan natin sila. But before that, allow me to show you some videos, interesting, of our national treasures. Sabihin niyo, ano ba yung national treasures? It could be the protected areas of our natural resources. It could also be living people or people that passed on, and these are our Gamaba. So let us see our Gamaba awardees. The Gamaba are the Manlilikha ng Bayan awardees. So allow me to show you snippets, short lang, from my weekly television show called Dayaw, Our Knowledge, Our Pride. Sounds familiar? So part of it we will have now. Let's play it. Salinta Monon was a Giangan Bagobo woman who specialized in the dense weave with patterns from ethnic templates. Lang Dulay, a Tiboli, had mastered the production of the large-scale traditional designs of her people in all their dazzling complexity. Both women were recognized for both their technical skill as well as their artistry. Both produced their own fibers, dyed these according to their knowledge of herbs and natural materials. Both set up their own looms and laid out the threads. Both were proponents of the ikat technique of weaving. Gamayo specializes in the weaving of the hardy cotton fabric called abel by the Ilocano. The Binacol pattern, a complex abstraction said to represent the whirlwind, is one of her specialties. Many variations of the Binacol exist, and she still retains the complex mathematics of its construction in her mind and in her heart. But for a skill to survive, there is a need for base raw material of her choice, kapas or locally grown cotton.
Isa na dito yung mga dunga kulay na panait, di ta banggar kapag datangan mo.
Gamayo's wish is for more young Ilocanos to learn from her and to inherit and carry on the knowledge which she is only a vessel of.
Tatinja kang mumanta. Bakita mo to na yan di mamo no ababati kon no na manayong pay no madanong ko ti sa nga gasutatawan ano saan. May misong ay karkararag ko na po Diyos no. Manayo na kailang agyaw. Kaya po, mapayag pa. Anong dati rigat ko sa tikinabakit.
Salinta Monon was a Giangan Bagobo woman who specialized in the dense weave with patterns from ethnic templates. A gourd hat may seem like a simple thing, an item dismissed as a folksy Filipiniana. But in the creations of Teofilo Garcia, an Ilocano living in San Quintin, Abra, the gourd hats or tabungao that he creates are a result of agricultural knowledge, time-honored and functional design, and simple but pleasing aesthetic sensibilities. What others may see as just a hat is in fact an object that shows just how deeply traditional Filipino craftsman was attuned to his environment. For Garcia, it all begins with growing the perfectly spherical upo.
Dua nga klase ti panagara ti marami sa kalulog. Para ti manalo, simple laeng. Tabungaw, ose, way, dansa. Ti may kadwa, para ti opisyal, ang rudimot lang ti tabungaw, pose, way, mito, ken barnis. Medyo ti pagmulaan, ti pamayak ti dayayin, matulungan ti bugaso, anti-fertilizer. Ta iso ti mangpatintas ti mangparitat panagdak ti tabungaw.
With a perfect gourd to work with, he now begins the process of creating a hat.
Malpasen nga maani rin yung tabungaw. Ragadyan nga agkatwa. Pagkatapos, ang pasan na rin dyan, no malungsot dalusan. No madalusanen ipamaga. Apaman nga mamagaan, mabalinin nga singun para aramihin na kalubuhay. No madisinyon, nakasagaan mo ta dyan, lingkan, sakam, ratan, sa gusto. Papasan lang nga ma-assemble. So, mati pa ng gusto mo rin dyan decoration. So, ganito. Kaya na dyan barnis. Dyan barnis, makalong manakirap. Gana nga tumangko. Kasi pa nanguray mo itatangkong na baka makabulan. Makabulan pa. 1 month.
Gagawa ka muna ng pattern. Pagkayari ng pattern, gagawa ka ng molde. Sa kahoy mo muna iguguhit. At pagka guhit ng pattern, yun namang molde ang gagawin mo. Pagkayari ng molde, yun namang yellow brush ang susunod mo para lumitaw yung design. Pupukuan yun. Pagkalitaw ng design, sasaing na naman ang lagay. Bubuhayin mo na naman yung design para na-finish na. Pagka-finish ng design, itutubog mo na naman sa silver. Pagka wala sa silver, gagawa ka naman yung pinaka-frame.
Mutuk's ability to design became evident when he demonstrated how his vision is transformed from a piece of paper to a finished beaten plate.
Ito yung design ng crucifix. Pattern ng crucifix ito. Pagka yari ng pattern, gagawin mo sa kahoy para molde mo. Ako rin ang gumawa nito. Yung mga ganyan, yan. Ako rin ang gumawa nito, mga pattern nito. Matagal din kasi bago mo gawin sa metal, yung magpa-pattern ka muna. Pagkaraan ng pattern, sa molde na. Yung molde matagal din ginagawa. Kasi inuukit din yan eh. Kung minsan, merong isang linggo gano'n.
Near Banawe, the weaver Angelina Bule works quietly in her home, assisted by her son and daughter. Her forte is ikat weaving, a technique that is still very much alive in highland Mindanao but was almost extinct among the Cordillera people. Until the last half of the 20th century, ikat textiles were the most highly valued by the Ifugao.
Kung naghahabis si nanay, ganito ang nisi-set up, ako ang gumawa ng ganito. Ako ang maghahabi. At saka yung gumawa ng design, yung nakaplastar sa thread, tinuruan na akong magtali.
Ifugao ikat weaving begins with a muntudun or the hand rolling of the threads. In the mumbayat stage, the threads are laid out to form the pre-warp. Then the most difficult stage, mumbubud, or tying the warp so that it can resist the dyes. The dyes used combine salt, mud, and the bark and leaves of specific trees. Red, for example, is the product of Nara bark.
Pumasok sa loob yung kulay niya.
After the dyed threads have been air-dried, they are then rewarped and set up on the loom. Only when the warp and weft are precisely laid out can the process of weaving, or monhabol, begin. The motifs of Angelina's work incorporate the symbols that Ifugao recognize. The lizard, a totemic animal of ancient origin. The mortars and rice sheaves that signify bounty. The mountain ranges that make up their home. Her signature masterwork, though, is a reproduction of the Ues Pinintuan, the ikat blanket first woven but no longer produced by the Isinay of Nueva Vizcaya. This blanket was traded by the Isinay into Ifugao territory and became much valued as a death shroud known as a kinutian. In Angelina's work, the motifs of a rare textile, once thought vanished, now lives again.
So bali ito po yung pinaka-hari ng mga blankets po. Kasi ito po ginagamit po ng mayayaman lamang. Bawal pong gumamit ng mahihirap. Ito po isang recognition po para sa journey po ng isang successful man in his journey in life.
Nung maliit pa po kami, nakikita namin po sa lola namin, sa nanay namin. Tapos, nung kaya na namin, nag-uumpisa na kami maggawa nito ng banig. Hanggang sa ngayon po, ito po ang aming ginagawa.
As folk art, the mats of the Philippines can be considered a metaphor for our similarities and our differences. Each distinct design, each technique, each particular way of weaving, dyeing, and finishing a mat speaks volumes about how the same object can be so expressive of a people's sensibility.
So you've seen all the weavers, and let me see. We have our co-founder of Seso Tunawa. I can see the art card being played now, and I'm so happy na madadala namin ang ating mga tagapanood sa Facebook sa Mindanao. Nasa may Lake Cebu ba kayo? Kasama natin si Carl Lozano, na co-founder ng Seso Tunawa. I think we have a video also that can be shown later. And kasama din natin ang ating mga Basay weavers. Ang ginagawa ni Carl ay mga tiboli brass casting. At ito ang mga, meron ako mga clinking na bell sa opisina eh. Pero mamaya pag-uusapan natin yan. And pag-uusapan din natin yung mga paggagawa ng traditional na mga mat. At yan nga yung mga Basay weavers ng woven crafts in Basay Samar, John Francia and Trish Lim. And we will go to the Cordillera once again with Nida Danao, the designer of Silnag. I actually wear her very beautiful handcrafted designs, transforming natural raw materials into unique jewelry. Okay, I've shown you so many videos. Gusto ko nga kausapin isa-isa. But before that, ayan, naka-standby na. Oops, gumagalaw ang video ko. I can see now. Okay, very clear. I can see Carl. Si Carl ay nandyan sa South Cotabato sa Region 12. Nakikita ko si Nida. Si Nida ay taga Cordillera. At nakikita ko rin si John at si Trish. And they are the expert weavers from Region 8 in Samar. But before that, and I'm glad that all of you are with me here, siguro nagtataka kayo, ano ba yung pinakita sa atin ni Lauren sa Stories for a Better Normal ngayon? Are we in Stories for a Better Normal or are we in Dayaw? Because everything converges, hindi ba? Parang kayong mga brass casting, parang yung mga weavers, parang yung mga ginagawang horn jewelry ni Nida ng Silnag. Lahat yan nagko-converge, hindi ba? Ang ating mga micro-enterprises, ang ating sustainable rural livelihoods, mga training workshops na ginagawa, yung mga artisans na gumagawa, yung ating mga indigenous peoples at ang ating mga rural women weavers and ating mga micro-entrepreneurs. Lahat yan nasa isang mundo na nagko-converge. Yung mga pagpupunta sa trade fairs, yung mga pagtutulong ng Design Center of the Philippines, yung pagko-coordinate sa Bureau of Domestic Trade. These are all the work I do. From the laws I've authored, from the Tropical Fabric Law na nag-mandate that we should wear Philippine-made, Philippine-grown and woven fiber, fabric, textiles. Yung batas din na ginawa ko, yung Micro and Small and Medium Enterprises Law, I hope lahat kayo ay nakikinabang. Ngayon, ano yung mga videong pinakita ko? Aba, ito mga videong to, okay, if you will recall, nakita nyo yung gourd hat maker. Yan si Teofilo Garcia ng San Quintin Abra. I'm sure alam niya ni Nida na taga Cordillera. And we also saw the master in metal and woodcraft. That was Eduardo Mutuk. He is from Apalit, Pampanga. And of course, we saw the Bule mother and son, Angelina and Sammy Bule from Hingyon, Ifugao. And we saw the Basiao mat weavers from Basay, Samar. And sa pinakamahalaga na Nagamaba weavers, we saw Bagobo weaver Salinta Monon. We saw the Tiboli dream weaver Lang Dulay. And we saw the oldest living weavers from Pinili, Ilocos Norte, Magdalena Gamayo. So I'm letting you know all this para makita natin ang konteksto ng ating programa ngayon. Sabi nila, resilience, weaving textiles and fabrics, because in this journey called life, we are weaving all of our stories, our experiences, sharing it with each other. Okay, so let us start from the farthest, and that is Mindanao. Ayan, ikwento mo sa amin kung ano bang ibig sabihin ng seso to. Sabi mo yung tamang punto. Ano yung literal translation sa Pilipino, Tagalog o sa Ingles? At paano kayo naapektuhan ng pandemic? Pangatlo, anong opportunities ang nabuksan para sa inyo? Yan. So we will go now first to Lake Cebu. Kasama natin si Carl Lozano na sasabihin niya sa atin ang kanyang journey towards a sustainable, cultural, and social enterprise that evokes the Tiboli spirit. At ano ba tong Seso Tunawa? Yan. Helping to transform Tiboli brass casters of Lake Cebu into self-sustaining artisans. Nakakatuwa kayong lahat nagbibigay ng employment hindi lang sa inyong sarili, kundi sa mga kasamahan nyo. Okay. Carl Lozano.
Thank you. Good morning, and Deputy Lauren, we're glad to be here. Salamat po sa pag-invite. And I think it's really good that we started with the context, zoning into the living treasures, our national treasures, because our journey in Sisatunawa is actually based in working with our artisans, particularly the brass casters of Lake Cebu. And our journey started, nag-umpisa kami nung siguro late 2015. I was part of an Indigenous Peoples Education project that was implemented in Lake Cebu. So we did a culture-based curriculum for senior high school. And that was the time when I was able to work with different Tiboli creatives, weavers, brass casters, embroiderers, and other Tiboli artists. And in our journey, we're able to marami kaming napag-usapan, no? And part of the conversations that really came out was the state, yung nagre-reveal kung ano na ba ang reality sa ground ng ating mga living treasures, no? Ano na ba ang kalagayan nila? And what you are seeing in the slides are snippets of what we have experienced or heard in the community. Sinasabi nila, a lot of experiences on the ground would say na mura lang daw ang pagkakabili ng mga produkto nila. Noon, pinagpapalit lang nila into essential goods like toyo, asukal, asin, bigas. And then they also have experiences with customers telling them not to sell them at the higher, the product at the high price because other cultural communities are selling it at a low price. Clearly for us, parang merong realidad sa ground na na-exploit talaga yung local artists natin by middlemen and other entrepreneurs. That's a reality. And another is that we saw that there's a limited or lack of access to market and education, especially yung relevant business skills training that they will be able to use to be more self-sustaining. Kasi yung iba nagsasabi, sinubukan naman nila magnegosyo, kaso lang hindi daw talaga sapat yung kaalaman, no? And ang kapital. And sabi din ng iba, when we started, si Sotonawa, hindi daw talaga sila marunong magpresyo. Most of the time, businessmen would visit their community and they would allow the businessmen to price the products that they're made. Kasi parang, kayo na lang po, yung mga ganong experience. And they don't have experience selling outside of Lake Cebu kasi limited talaga yung resources nila. So doon lang sila sa Lake Cebu. And another glaring reality is cultural degradation. Kasi nga hindi sila nakakabenta ng maayos. A lot of our brass casters in Lake Cebu parang iniwan yung brass casting kasi it doesn't give them economic value anymore. So ito yung mga realities on the ground, and these are our inspiration in coming up with what is Sisotonawa now. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so another interesting story that we were able to see in Lake Cebu is the art of Tomuel, or the art of brass casting in Lake Cebu. What you see in the slides are process, and stages in making a brass cast product like the bell that you see at the center. So it starts with the cooking of the wax. They call it the timogo tolo, and then they knead it. They call it tinufe, and then they do the designing, which is metek. After that, they wrap the wax model, and they call that process smufot. And then after that, they will cook the mold, and then the brass scraps, which is the timogo tuwil and ili. And then after that, they will break the mold. So every product is really unique kasi nawawala yung mold every time that you create something. This process takes place about a week, so parang 3 to 4 days, sometimes 7, depending on the quantity of products that you're making. And it would take 4 people working together to finish the entire process. And if you pagtitingnan natin yung presyuhan sa market, like I'm glad you mentioned earlier, Deputy Lauren, that you have like tiny bells. That in Lake Cebu is being bought at 150 pesos. Yun ang pinaka mahal. Kasi sometimes nagiging piso yun. So imagine 4 days of working with gagawa ka ng 100 pieces, so you only have 150 at the end of 4 days, which will be divided into how many people? 4. Kasi sila yung nagtatrabaho. So that's the reality. But the beauty of it is that people, or the brass casters, are doing it and they're happy working together. And that kind of value in Tiboli is called Sisotonawa. Can we proceed to the next slide, please? So the Sisotonawa, if you look at the word, it came from 2 Tiboli words. Sisoto, which means to make one. When a Tiboli counts, they start with the number soto, like soto, luwu, tulu, things like that. So when you say Sisoto, it means to make one. Nawa in the Tiboli means spirit. So simply put, Sisotonawa is called the union of spirits. It's the value of cooperation, it's the value of unity, and in a more familiar Tagalog term, maybe bayanihan. So even with the sad realities, we are able to see the light in all of that. And we took inspiration from these value. Can we go to the next slide, please. So we thought, we started with a project. No, we organized a group of volunteers who would like to try working together and embodying the value of Sisotonawa so that we can establish a brand that is community owned and community managed. Kasi alam namin ang daming social enterprise brand in the Philippines. But most of these brands are not owned by the community themselves. These are owned by other entrepreneurs. There's nothing wrong with that, I'm sure. But we wanted to, parang gusto namin ipakita na even the cultural community has the capacity and the resources to start their own business. Kaya nila. We know that they can do it. They just need equitable opportunities, access to that. So we said, let's try to amplify that value of working together so that we can create something or a business that is community owned, in the future maybe community managed, and then to create economic value, something that they can earn from, and then address their social issues like hunger, walang access sa education and things like that. And then ensure that their Tiboli identity and culture lives on. So yun yung dream. Next slide, please. So who are we? Sisotonawa right now is a social and cultural enterprise. We are founded in December 2017 and we are based in Lake Cebu, South Cotabato. And our enterprise is registered in DTI and DIR under Sisotonawa Crafts with a Tiboli brass caster as the owner and the leader of our community of artists. So right now we have about 11 brass casters and 5 beaders, and we have 9 active volunteers working to sustain the livelihood, traditions, culture, and identity of the Tiboli of Lake Cebu. Next. So basically, the heart or the core of what we do in Sisotonawa is to offer a culture-based mentoring and capability building support. Siguro yung tanong, ano yung culture-based mentoring? As a student of anthropology, kasi I believe that our cultural communities have their own knowledge system. And in working and journeying with communities like these, I think we need to honor that. So what we do is we basically do a lot of storytelling, conversations, parang bring out elements of their own identity and culture and use it as a resource to learn, business skills like product development, how do they do financial management, and how do they improve, their skills and their management of their finances and things like that. Our community of volunteer basically right now assists in the branding and marketing. So everything that you see in our social media platform and our yung sa ating website, lahat yan ginagawa ng ating mga volunteers who are also, doing this on the side. So most of them are also working. I am also working, but normally on weekends I work with the Tiboli community. And we also help in networking and partnership building. Since our brand is based on the value of working together, we wanna bank on that. Gusto namin talaga doon nang gagaling ang lahat ng ginagawa namin. So we believe in a good sincere partnership and a good relationship with other brands and institutions or organizations. Next. Now, we started 2017 officially, and we started with a 3,000 worth of inventory. And we are happy that in like 3 to 6 months, we're able to, make use of that inventory and raise resources so that we'll be able to help Kuya Joel Blunto, our co-founder, to register his own business in DTI and DIR. So we're really proud of this because Sisotonawa until now has never received a financial grant or a capital, because again we wanted to present a way of doing where there's minimal resources coming in from outside so that community can really feel and realize that they can do it themselves. So in also 3 years now, we're able to increase the livelihood opportunities of more than 15 Tiboli artists. We also increase their business skills, capabilities through our mentoring program. And as part of our financial literacy or commitment on financial literacy, we already institutionalized savings programs for our partner artists. So lahat yan sila may saving. And it has been very useful during the time of pandemic kasi naging safety net nila yon. During the first few months, talagang may nagamit pambili ng mga essential goods. We were also able to establish and maintain partnership with other brands so that we can increase market access and support in capability building programs. So we are an enterprise partner of Anthill, if you're familiar, and they're actually the one helping us in our capability building program and set up our e-commerce, our website. We're also a partner with Rags to Riches, so they help us sell our products. And in I think last year, we're able to launch our website, which has been very useful now during the time of pandemic. Naging, kasi nga lahat ng mga bazaars, lalo na yung nilolook forward ng aming mga artisans na inorganize ni Deputy Lauren during October, nawala. And the website platform is really, you know, useful and nakakatulong talaga sa aming mga partner artists ngayon. And we are already starting to work with other artisan communities in Lake Cebu. So the dream really in Sisotonawa is to expand it to other crafts. That way we'll be able to help them out as well and you know, realize their own potential and not only become an artisans or suppliers to brands, but also entrepreneurs themselves.
That's great. That's
yes.
great. Thank you so much. At napakaganda yung sinabi mo yan. Community-based, community-managed.
Right.
Diba? Hindi
Correct.
masama na kayo ay supplier sa brands. Pero, pinapatunayan ninyong mga tiboli at mga kaibigan natin, kasamahan at kababayan sa South Cotabato, sa Region 12, na kaya nyong mag-register on your own sa DTI, gumamit ng sariling resources para sa BIR, mag-provide ng livelihood opportunities sa inyong mga tiboli artists and artisans, at maganda yung sinabi mo, that you will expand to other crafts. Because I actually have your bell. Naku, saan ba yung bell mo? Hinahanap ko nga. Ah, ito! Sandali, ito pala nakatabi ko. Ito ba? Is this it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I was looking for it earlier. I thought it was in my office in House of Rep. Pero alam mo, virtual world ngayon, I'm working from home. Finally, it was beside my room, my office in the House of Rep. Suddenly, it's beside me now. Hey, something. So, I'm so happy. Okay. This is 150 pesos, Carl.
I'm sure you bought that long time ago. So it's no longer 150 now.
Okay. Okay.
Well, at least in Sisotonawa.
Yes. Ito ay brass.
Yes.
Ito'y handcrafted brass na mga tiboli. Oh. Pamasko, maagang pamasko. Bibili tayo, ha? Hindi ko sabihin kung ilan, mag-order ako sa'yo. Pero when you said that you will expand to other crafts, because when people say tiboli, ako, ang tagal ko na nagpupunta dyan for 20, 30 years. Ito yung mga tinalak weaving, silang dulay, pinakita natin earlier, gawa sa abaka, gawa sa natural dye, at yung apo nilang dulay, dinala namin sila sa National Museum noon sa ating mga lecture series. Kayo ba ay mag-e-expand din? Hindi lamang sa mga tinalak weavers and dream weavers, but even those na gumagawa ng embroidery at ng beadwork, and you will also converge the brass casters and makers to weavers and other artisans.
Right. That's a very good question, Deputy Lauren. We're actually moving slowly towards that. Right now, we already have a product that incorporates brass and beads. Our dream is to really gather more artisans together in a conversation so that they can create new products. Kasi when we do product development, we are also very committed in their own identity and culture. So we do conversations. Sinisigurado namin na whatever design inspiration they take from, it's coming from their own stories, their experiences, their memories. Kasi, you know, kailangan siguro ibalik din yung awareness nung mga ganitong arts and crafts that it's not just a commodity, no? It's not that in the context of the cultural communities. Ano yan most of this even are ritual products traditionally. The tinalak are used in a ritual, no? The brass casting is used in a barter and
mapapansin ko lang bakit hindi ka nakatinalak at bakit ka hindi gumamit ng background na mayroong mga produkto ng Sesutunawa. O yun. Pero maghahabol tayo ng mga letrato mo sa end ng show, pakita mo lahat ng produkto mo. It's your platform now to show everybody watching us hanggang sa ibang bansa para ipakita mo lahat ng produkto, hindi lamang ng Sesutunawa, kung hindi ng mga Tiboli. Alam mo, pag nagbabiyahe ako dyan mula sa Jensan, no, I always pass by the lake. It is an enchanting lake and I really love Lake Cebu. Ako pa ay nagbo-boating sa Lake Cebu and many of our artisans, handcraft makers and brass makers are from Panay, Ilonggos, and Kinaraya na Antiqueño, hindi ba? Kaya sa aking mga Kasimanwa na Antiqueño at mga Ilonggo sa Lake Cebu na nandyan sa South Cotabato ay patuloy tayong magbibigay ng bulig, suporta, tulong. Okay, Carl? So thank you so much and you stay on because I really want to do this convergence, collaboration, and I like what you said that we should tell stories in all the products that we do. Aside from South Cotabato, na 30 years na ako nagpupunta dyan. Alam mo naman yan. Kaya lang, you're probably very young, but I've been going there for 30 years. And we will proceed now to another favorite place in the Visayas this time. I don't know if Trish and John were alive already when I used to go there as a young journalist, where I featured the weavers of Basay in Samar, where I even climbed rickety stairs to go to the second floor of homes that were full of mats. Are the mats made of tikog, pandan, baryo? They will tell us. So John Francia and Trish Lim, just like sa Sesutunawa, ay meron silang social enterprise, and that's Woven Crafts. I like what they say. It's a compassionate crafts company that designs hand in hand. Para ba kayong magkakapatid, no? Ang Sesutunawa, ang Woven Crafts, ang mga Philippine artisans ay tinutulungan. At nagsimula sila sa kanilang mga banig handicrafts in Samar, and now they're exploring weaving communities in the Philippines. May I invite you to my Santa Rosario Multipurpose Cooperative in Pandan Antique that's been doing beautiful barrio mats and bags. May I also invite you to our Ati weavers in Hamtik and even in Valderrama in Antique. So, puro ako plug ng Antique at itong suot ko ay hand-woven. Hindi to machine, hand-woven ng ating mga Bagtason weavers and dinesenyo ng isang millennial na si Marie. Okay, we go back. So kita naman yung utak ko. Mula sa Lake Cebu, pumuntang Basay, buwabalik ng Antique, babalik na yun ng Samar. O sige, John Francia and Trish Lim.
Okay, thank you so much, Deputy Speaker. Actually, I visited the Bagtason loom weavers na po before. Napakagaling nga po. Yeah. And I know the house you're speaking of, yung may rickety staircase with all the banig products.
Really? Alam
yes.
nyo?
Opo, oo.
Really? I went there 20 years ago.
Yeah, buhay pa rin po sila.
It's sloping now, no?
Yeah, medyo lumulubog na yung bahay nila.
Yeah, no, I want to help them. So give me the name and yes, and I want to Yes. Okay.
So yeah, actually, our story started when Yolanda, back in 2013, Typhoon Yolanda hit Samar po, and Basay was really one of the hardest hit areas. So Trish and I, kasi development background po kami, we were deployed to do a lot of research on how to build back better, research livelihood programs and all those things na for the recovery of the region. No? And one of the things that really attracted us, siguro next slide po, ayun, yung banig industry, no? Siguro long story short, they were experiencing something very similar to yung bell makers nila Carl, no, sa Tunawa, na parehong-pareho. They were earning 150 lang a week. You know, a week's worth of labor, tapos 150 pesos lang ang nakukuha nila. So in a month, they would just be earning 600 pesos. Pero this is like a full-time job for them. So nakakaawa talaga, no? But at the same time, we saw how beautiful the products they were making, no? That these were really pieces of art. These were artworks. These weren't just simple banigs. Ako personally, I was really touched by their story, by their struggle, to the point na after doing all that research, I volunteered. I stayed for a year with the weavers. Doon na mismo ako tumira. Kasi parang na-feel ko, na-guilty ako na I was just there to do research and then uuwi din ako sa Manila. So I wanted to sort of experience their stories firsthand. So I volunteered. I became a community organizer there in Basay. I worked with hundreds of women weavers po. We organized almost 20 weaving and crafts associations. One of which I worked with yung pinakita sa video ko, yung sa Basyao. So yun, we helped them develop their products, we organized their communities, but we realized that this issue experienced by the Basay weavers is not unique to Basay, no? It's the same issue, it's the same challenge being faced by all these other crafts communities, such as in Lake Cebu, all over the Philippines. And that's why, you know, after a couple of years, parang we wanted to we were sort of successful in working with these weaving communities in Basay, but we wanted to expand our success to more communities. And so that's where Trish, my partner, comes in.
Yeah, so we started with Banig, and what we did was turn these mats. Oh, they were already turning it into different products like yung mga tote bags or mga wallets. But we wanted to breathe new life into it and to make it more relevant to a younger market. So what we did, we started making laptop sleeves featuring these colorful weaves. And we would market it, go to bazaars and trade shows. And then next slide. Next slide. Yeah. And we started going around the country also. Actually, before that, we were already traveling for our research and also for leisure. I was also in Lake Cebu a couple of years ago, and like, I love that place. I love going there and learning from the weavers. And what we found out that the problems in Basay were not unique to the weavers there. Yun yung mga problema rin po ng marketing and design, access to market, technology, and even yung community organization first and foremost. But when our experience in bazaars and in trade shows, we saw that there's a really high demand for it, both locally and internationally. People really enjoy our weaves and they look at design, the functionality, and uniqueness. Parang they buy it because they want to see it in their own home or they want to use it on a daily basis. And that gave us so much joy. So yun, we went into other weaving communities. Please go into the next slide. And these next slides are just photos of all. Yeah, this one is in Banawe, backstrap loom weaving. And then the next slide is in Basilan. So I was there 2 years ago. And then the next slide is in Marawi. So I went there last year also. So these are all exploratory trips to see what other weavers are going through because we have so much respect for what our artisans are doing. It takes them months. Yung backstrap loom na yung dito sa likod, it takes them about 2 to 3 months to finish how many yards. Some weavers, some communities are already doing upright loom weaving, which is faster. And we learn from each and every community. And what we started in Basay, what we learned from our own artisans, our partner artisans, we're trying to apply it as, you know, a model for woven. So next slide, please. So our mission, who we are, our spirit is really to create modern, high-quality products, promoting Filipino craftsmanship and empowering our local artisans. So ayan, a lot of the home products like placemats and table runners and our banig mats, people still love them. And you'll see here at the back, we turn them into frames that, people can use to prettify their home. And then our next slide also, it's a twofold mission. And it's really to uplift the lives of artisans in the Philippines. So as mentioned, we have so much respect for what our artisans do. And we feel na may market dyan that they really want to get hold of these products. But there's a gap. Yun nga, sabi ni John, yung average income or average kita ng weavers dati is like about 600 to 650 pesos a month. And they do so much backbreaking work. And we felt that hindi nila nakukuha yung worth their energy and their talent. So if you go into the next slide, ayun nga, we consolidated all our data, all our research, all our learnings. And we saw that creative crafts communities were really experiencing the same problems all the way from Benguet to Basilan, to Marawi, to Basay. It mostly had to do with community organization. If you go into the next slide, and it all had to do with community organization, the systems and technologies that were employed by the artisans, the value-added product, and the access to market. So let me talk more about this. John said that he spent a year in Basay to help organize all these communities or all the weavers into associations. At dahil, kasi yung practice dati nga is kanya-kanya kayong gawa, kanya-kanya rin hanap ng market, kanya-kanya hanap ng buyers. At mahirap yun. What we saw is that if people band together and create, communities or crafts organizations, people's organizations, they have a higher chance of, selling to a wider market or controlling yung mga operations and systems nila. If they have good leadership, they have good entrepreneurial skills, they have a better chance of, actually setting up their own social enterprises and getting more buyers and exposure. Going into systems and technologies, it's not, of course, all machinery, pero as simple as yung backstrap loom weaving, and going into upright loom weaving. Of course, there are issues with cultural, yung, diba, resistance to going into upright loom weaving, but we think that there is a lot of opportunity, if people or the younger generation can also get into it and, help with the designs and the processes, since they're more open with it. And going into value-added product, we introduce new designs kasi syempre our partner weavers are in the provinces, low access to internet. We're experiencing that now. We can't do Zoom. We only talk through Messenger or through mobile. What more, diba, accessing all these different e-commerce sites. So what we help them with is coming up with, products, new designs, new color combinations, and then helping them get into the market also through bazaars. So that's our engagement with our artisans. And if you go into the next slide, we're really focused on innovating yung mga different products. Mula banig mats, banig bags, nag-go kami into banig laptops. Sometimes as easy as that, or sometimes as simple as changing the color schemes. Ito yung mga yakan weaves sa Basilan. Nagbigay lang ako ng mga color combinations or designs that they can try. Tas na-excite sila. And we've been working with them. Hirap lang talaga ngayon sa COVID situation. We used to go to these communities, pero ngayon, kailangan namin mag-converse through Facebook and also through Messenger. So through the designs, the processes, syempre yung mga weaving processes natin are home-based activities. So dati parang nagkwento-kwento lang, parang yung syempre kailangan namin mag-feedback kung hindi maayos yung paggagawa ng produkto. Kasi ina-explain rin namin na syempre kung hindi siya maganda, hindi siya mabebenta and mababawasan yung customers or they won't buy as much from us. So we have to feedback and give a criteria on the quality control measures also. So that's how we innovate processes. Next slide. Incubating. So we go into these crafts communities with a lot of respect and a lot of admiration for our weavers, and we want to partner with them. We know that they have their own organizations, and we want them also to thrive and grow as a community. So yung partnership delves into trainings and workshops for the women. In Basay, we did a 6-month sewing apprenticeship program kasi lahat nga sila is weaving or embroidery, paraglara, paragpahot. If they go into sewing, that's a value-added activity. They can earn so much more. So we did a sewing apprenticeship program with them where they learn from our master sewer, and now they can do more of our products and earn more from their crafts. Okay, next slide. And of course, the implementation stage is we do the product development, the ideation, we really sit with them, and we bring these creative ideas to life. So we try to tap creative partners, like we did one for Charles and Keith last year because they wanted to do something for International Women's Month. And they actually went to Samar to film our artisans to see how the products are made. And we like those partnerships na ang high respect rin nga for what our partner weavers do. We've also done with several other creatives and designers. So anyone out there who wants to partner with us, we're very much open to it. All right. So I'll pass it on back to John to talk about how we measure our impact.
As a social enterprise, we're really proud that we actually measure the impact that we have on our communities. No? So as I said, when we started out in 2015, 2014, nasa 600 pesos a month lang yung income nila. And we're really proud that we've tripled that level of monthly income up to almost 1/8 as of last year. But our end goal talaga is for them to earn at least minimum wage. So medyo malayo pa kami dun. And we've expanded our reach. So we started out with 30 artisans in one community. And now we're working with 99 artisans across 6 communities across the Philippines. And ito, although Woven is a separate enterprise, no, we help these communities establish their own registered organizations po, whether with DOLE, with DTI, some even cooperative ang balak nila eh. And we're counting that we started yung first community, 35K ang initial capital nila. Now our communities combined, they have almost 1 million worth in assets that is fully owned po ng community. And eto talaga, when we started, almost 60% of our artisans said they didn't want their children to become weavers or artisans like them. So we set about to change that mindset, no? And we talaga may programs kami for the youth. And now we have around 33 kids, mga youth, mga teenagers who are learning the craft and who in some way are interested in continuing what their parents are doing. So we're very proud of that. Next slide. Ayun, of course, ang daming challenges because of the pandemic, no? Pero fortunately, next slide. We were in a position naman to help our communities weather the difficulties. No? Back in April, we had this program, Bahay Kubo Garden, kasi we realized, okay, kulang sila sa livelihood. At the same time, because of the travel restrictions, kulang yung access to food. So sabi namin, hindi ba farmers naman kayo halos lahat? Dapat kaya ninyo to sustain yourselves, no? So we made this program. We distributed Bahay Kubo garden kits for all our community partners. It's just 1,000 worth of seedlings and fertilizers. And they were able to set up their own backyard gardens for vegetables. Kasi we believe they should be sustainable, not just sa livelihood, pero also sa food and health ng household nila. Aside from that, although si Woven mismo, talagang nabawasan yung orders namin, we've made sure to continue our orders, our production at the community level. Para kahit kami as a business, we're not earning as much, pero we have enough working capital to ensure continuous production and ensure continuous livelihood po for our artisans. So kahit ngayon, wala kami masyadong benta, pero order pa rin kami ng order sa communities namin.
Yes.
Yeah. So
thank you so much. It's really amazing how young entrepreneurs, social enterprises manned by young people like Trish and John have really converged and told us their stories and helping artisans in Basay Samar, even in other areas. And I hope that you can come back to my home province of Antique and perhaps groups like Sesetunua that helps out the Tibolis in Lake Cebu as well as you based in Basay Samar, but also reaching out up to the Yakans in Basilan, because last week I had the Yakans in the Yakan village that I actually helped improve and rehabilitate in Zamboanga City. So we go now, nagsimula tayo sa Mindanao at nagpunta tayo sa Basay Samar, papunta tayo sa isa sa mga paboritong soulful na lugar dahil ang aking yumaong chief of staff ay taga Cordillera. Hindi ko alam kung kilala ni Nida, si Yvonne. I dedicate, naiyak na naman ako kasi I'm an honorary Cordilleran, and many of our friends, both from Ifugao and in Benguet and Mountain Province, have adopted me as their own. So, Nida, congratulations for Silnag. Tell us what Silnag means, just like I asked what Sesutono. It's difficult to say, but Silnag. You use indigenous materials and you use sustainable materials for the craft and the artistry that you do. Okay, Nida, thank you so much, John and Trish.
Hi, good morning, Ma'am Lauren, and to my fellow designers and to the viewers. We're very happy that you invited us. And kanina habang nakikinig ako sa mga kay Carl, saka kay Trish, saka si Chan, tumatakbo na yung isip ko eh. Kasi iniisip ko yung kay Carl, yung brass, pwede nating isama yun sa Carabao horn, no? Sa jewelry. And then yung mga bags, yung mga hobby, you know, we can make Carabao horn as handle kasi 'di ba parang tumataas yung yung premium niya no. So parang nakikita ko nga yung maraming pwedeng gawin, no? Magko-collaborate tayo. So ako naman I grew up in Benguet. So isa akong Kankanay, so I belong to an indigenous group. So lumaki ako sa malayo sa Benguet Province, doon sa Kibungan. It's mga 2 hours ride from Baguio City, and then lalakad ka pa ng mga 4 to 7 hours bago marating yung lugar namin. So talagang lumaki ako surrounded by mountains, surrounded by beautiful nature. So yun talaga yung phase sa buhay ko na talagang I really enjoyed that kasi talagang gustong-gusto ko yung nature. Nung lumalaki kami, sabi ng tatay ko, mahirap ang buhay dito sa bundok. So, kailangan bumaba kayo, kailangan mag-aral kayo, maghanap kayo ng trabaho. So, yun ang ginawa ko. So, lumipat ako sa lugar, nag-aral hanggang sa magkatrabaho. Then, nung napunta ako sa Manila, that was the time na medyo na-depress ako because I miss the life, the simple life in the province. Yung bang nakachinelas ka lang or nakapaa-paa ka, okay lang, diba? Yung kahit sako lang yung bag mo, walang magtatanong sa'yo, anong brand yung bag mo? So talagang medyo nanibago ako na it was there where when I decided to parang reconnect to my roots, to my culture. So doon ko naisip na gagawa ako ng jewelry made of materials na malapit sa akin, which is Carabao horn. Okay. So, in 2004, we started yung Silnag. Silnag is an Ilocano term which means the rays of the sun. Sa ibang lugar kasi, they call it Sirnaat, Sinag in Tagalog. Next slide, please. Okay. So, bakit Carabao horn? Ang ginamit ko, yung main material kasi namin is Carabao horn. In Benguet kasi, we have the Kanyao, where we butcher pigs or carabaos to share to our neighbors. So kung nakapunta kayo sa native houses ng mga Igorots, siguro nakikita nyo may mga naka-display ng mga Carabao horn. Yun kasi after the Kanyao, what we do is we hang yung mga Carabao horns kasi yun, parang status symbol yun sa amin eh. So kung marami ka nun, ibig sabihin, ikaw ay isang kadangyan or ikaw ay isang baknang in Ilocano, ikaw ay isang mayaman. So parang status symbol yun. So Carabao horn, nilalaro namin yan nung mga bata kami. So that's one reason kung bakit pinili ko yung Carabao horn as materials. And second, ang Carabao horn kasi is natural. So natural, it's not obtained from mining, and it's biodegradable. Okay? Itapon mo lang yan, ulanan lang yan, nabubulok na siya. Okay? Ang Carabao horn pala, kasi maraming nagtatanong it's from from dead animals, so we don't harm animals just to get materials. So yan, parang upcycling, no? Upcycling kasi although may iba ginagamit yan as handle for bolos o kaya yung mga kutsilyo, aside from that wala na parang tinatapon na lang yan. So ang ginagawa namin, may nag-iipon kasi sa mga slaughterhouses, so binibili namin yan. Then yun yung ginagawa naming jewelry. Okay, so yun nga, biodegradable siya, natural siya. Okay, next slide please. Okay, and yung jewelry namin is minimally processed. Kung makikita nyo yung process namin, mainly yung cutting, tapos binabuff lang yan, sinishape lang yan, tapos makikita mo na yung magagamit mo na, makakabuo ka na ng jewelry. So walang gaanong ginagamit na chemicals. Actually yun lang, cutting, buffing, yun lang, talaga napakahirap gawin. So tumatagal ang isang jewelry lang 3 to 5 days na kung gawin. Bukod pa sa na-assemble, yung pagkakat lang yun. So makikita nyo dito sa slide, paggawa lang ng chain, napakahirap na. Okay? So isa pang maganda dito sa Carabao horn, kasi ang main market namin is export so napaka-exotic siya, no? Makikita mo kasi yung mga natural grains niya, lalo na pag albino. Albino yung white horn galing sa puting kalabaw. Merong ganun may puting kalabaw but very rare yan. Okay, next slide please. Okay. So kung makikita nyo, ang inspiration ko talaga, most of my designs are really inspired by nature. So itong unang design ko, inspired by mushroom. So yan yung mga nakikita ko sa paligid. Para bang mo yung mushroom tapos pinagsasama mo, binitin mo sa leeg mo, no? Okay, so makikita nyo yung natural grains nung this is albino. That's from the white Carabao. Okay. Next slide please. Okay, ito naman yung isa is inspired by snail, yung biruruko in Ilocano. Okay, so Carabao horn yan yung black. And then next we have the waterfall inspired. I think meron si Ma'am Lauren nung version na yan in pearl. Okay, yung waterfall.
I already seen wearing the eagle's tail inspired necklace. Ayan. Although I can see on the screen the snail shell inspired, waterfall inspired, raindrops inspired, and eagle's tail inspired. And I can see Nida. Kita na kaya ako sa screen ngayon? Nida? Oh, I think the art card is the one that's shown. I hope that they can show me later.
Yeah.
Okay. Parang ang ating technician ay nakatulog siguro. Okay, they will show me later. Yan. Ayan. Okay. Habang ikaw nagsasalita, nagpalit pa ako. Kasi kanina, ang suot ko naman ay mga beads ng Abra Itnig. At yung akin ay taga Mountain Province. Pero ngayon, yan ay gawa sa Carabao horn, nagawa na isang taga Cordillera na guest natin, Nida. So ang ganda ng necklace mo at ako ay nawala ng 3 minutes dahil sinuot ko itong gawa ni Nida at ito. Para akong model ngayong programang ito. At ito yung bell. So this is Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. We have the Cordillera and this is Patadyong hand woven in Bugasong. My mat from Basay are in my farm. And this is from Cordillera. Natatawa sila, Carl, sa akin. Ganyan ako. Handang-handa ako. Baka mamaya makuha ko yung Basay. Sana pala yung aking mat. O sige. May bag naman ako ng Basay. Continue. I interrupted your art cards. Okay. Dapat yung ating technician medyo listo ha? Kasi maganda. Okay. Balik sa mga art card ni Nida. Proceed please.
Yeah, wow. Ganda. Kakatuwa. So, we have the raindrops. Yun, sa ulan naman. So makikita nyo, pag nagde-design kasi ako, I go back to my childhood experience. So parang bumabalik ako, yung mga nakikita ko noon, nung bata ako, yun yung ginagamit kong inspiration for my designs. So raindrops, and then we have the eagle, eagle wings. Next slide, please. Yan, okay. So, bukod dun sa mga jewelry, we also started making yung mga home essentials, lalo na ngayong pandemic. So, kailangan creative ka, mag-isip ka, ano pa bang ibang kailangan ng tao. Kina-start namin ito. So, meron kaming lampshade. Okay, this is flower-inspired lampshade. Okay. So, kalalabas lang namin yan parang few months ago. And then we have the bird's nest inspired lampshade. So yun, sa bird's nest naman yan. So that's Carabao horn, that's albino. Actually, pinapainitan yan, tapos pwede mong i-bend. So yan, nabuo namin yung bird's nest lampshade. And then we have yung stick and marble candle holder. Ito natatawa ako dito eh. Kasi yung design ko na yan, naisip ko yan, dahil nung bata kami, wala talaga kaming mga biniling laruan. So, kung ano yung meron sa paligid namin, yun na yung nilalaro namin. So, yan yung marble, saka stick. Yung mga twigs, yan ang ginagamit namin, nilalaro namin. So, again, yun ang inspiration ko para sa lampshade na yan. Next slide, please. Okay. Our main market is export. So, sa mga jewelry namin, that's really for export. Pero nagpapasalamat kami sa Rustans because when they welcome us to their stores, yung branding namin dito sa local is gumanda. So, akala namin hindi papansinin yan ng local market. But when we started marketing the local, ang daming nagkagusto. So, at present, meron kami sa mga Rustans sa department store. So, sa Makati, Shangri-La, meron na rin kami sa Cebu. Next slide, please. Okay, so yan, yung Silnag family. Okay? May mga dumagdag. Okay? May mga nagpaalam na rin. No? Pero nakakatuwa dito, meron kaming buyer nagpunta sa factory noon. Tapos ito kasing buyer na to is very observant pala siya. So nung nakita niya, sabi niya, you know, I'm so happy kasi nakita ko yung mga workers ninyo. They seems to be happy. Lahat sila, iba yung ano nila, masasaya sila. So yun. So itong mga workers namin, natututo na rin silang mag-save kasi meron kami sa factory, tinuturuan silang mag-impo na mag-save ng kanilang mga sahod. Tapos tinuturuan din namin silang bukod sa pagbuo ng jewelry, may mga garden din sila dyan. So nagtatanim din sila.
Wow, yes, actually I see your rural gardening, organic farming, and of course your works in your Instagram, and madalas tayo mag-like each other. First, maganda yung na-stress mo, Nida, na ang iyong mga materyales ay recyclable, galing sa nature, at hindi ka pumapatay ng hayop para kunin ang Carabao horn. Is that correct? Let's clarify that. These are from the market na mga tinapon na at rejects. Tama ba yon?
Yes, yes.
So you don't kill the animal to make the necklace. These are, binibili ito sa palengke, at kung hindi mo bibilin, ay itatapon na. Tama?
May products ng food. So, mula yan sa mga patay na animals.
Yes. Aside from Carabao horn, ano pa yung ibang natural products na ginagamit mo?
Minsan gumagamit kami ng mga wood din. Pero itong yung mga scrap from furniture shops.
Yes.
And yeah. Yung mga seeds, I tried using seeds also. Yung mga, kino-combine ko lang siya. Kasi yung market namin is medyo high-end eh. So,
I
kung
know.
makikita niyo yung designs ko, polished siya, okay? Pero merong konting feel, merong konting ethnic feel.
Yun nga, napapansin ko, your quality is really fino. It's so well done. And you said that it's the least machinery and it's handcrafted. Napakaganda ng handiwork. Yes. Your workplace, yung factory mo, sinasabi mo, ay nasa Benguet?
No, ma'am. Our factory is in Bulacan. Kasi sa Manila, for export kasi talagang yung setup mo, kailang babantayan mo yung production, lalo na yung quality. So talagang araw-araw yan, kailang nakikita ko yung production.
Dinadala mo na from Cordillera, pero your ethnicity is from Benguet. Yes.
Yes.
And are your workers also from Cordillera o halo-halo na, may mga Tagalog na?
Actually, ito nakakatawa kasi halo-halo sila. Merong mga Cebuano, merong mga Ilocano, merong mga Igorot. So, sama-sama sila doon. Nakakatuwa naman dahil nagkakaintindihan sila.
Okay. You're from the Igorot ethnic group, right? From Benguet.
Yes.
And you're wanting to connect with nature. Yung storya mo kanina na nasa syudad ka, namimiss mo ang buhay probinsya. Ako, probinsyana at heart because as I said many times before, lumaki ako sa Malabon. Ang Malabon, hindi pa yan parte ng Metro Manila. Rizal pa noon probinsya. At umaakit ako ng puno at ang kalaro ko ay mga dragonfly sa Lagubang at mga paru-paro. But you grew up in which town in Benguet?
It's actually in Kibungan. It's 2 hours drive from Baguio City. And you have for mga 4 to 7 hours. Depende kung mabilis kang maglakad.
Okay. And this growing up with the pine trees, with the mountains, and I'm sure that time it wasn't eroded and the mountains were greener during that time, have inspired you to do this craft. So we can also see how you've leveled up and you are in the big department stores, but of course affected by the pandemic. So gaya ng tinanong ko kay John at kay Trish at kay Carl, paano kayo nag-innovate at paano kayo nag-adapt sa new norm na hindi pwedeng dikit-dikit sa factory ang trabaho ng tao, na hindi naman sila nagpupunta ngayon masyado sa mga mall at mga department store. Of course, you're online. How have you been affected and how have you adjusted?
Yeah, actually ito ang nakakalungkot kasi because of this pandemic, kailangan talaga naming yung ibang trabahador namin medyo standby muna kayo. Okay? So nabawasan yung aming trabahador, yung iba naka-standby muna kaysa magsara. So sabi namin, ito muna ang arrangement natin. So ang ginagawa nga namin, aside from the jewelry, talagang gumagawa kami ng, ang dami naming ginawa ngayon na products like yung shoehorn, yung mga home essentials, yung mga lamp, yung mga pencil holder. So nag-iisip kami ng mga products na yung mga mas kailangan kasi ngayon syempre yung mga jewelry, hindi siya gaano mabili. Tapos although bukas yung mga mall sa Manila, konti naman yung pumapasok. So talagang kami ngayon sa Instagram talaga, sa Facebook. Kung makikita nyo, post ng mga products. Ako na mismo nagma-market.
Very good. Okay. I will buy 1 bell from Carl. I will buy 1 necklace from Nida. And I will buy 1 basay bag from John and Trish. For our Facebook viewers, ayan, baka maganahan ang dadami. Natutuwa si Carl. Pero yung bell mo dati, 150 pesos ito nung nagdayaw ako. Ngayon daw, mahal na. O, tingnan natin. Magtatawaran kami ni Carl. Pero minsan ang mga artisans, hindi ko tinatawaran. Si Nida, pumili ka na lang ng aking bibilin para sa ating Facebook viewers. Babasahin ko lang 1 minute ang ating mga Facebook viewers. Usually I don't wear glasses, but we have viewers from Mandaluyong, from Davao, Antique, Basilan, North Cotabato. Harriet Tali says, good morning. Alfred Ansiado, Jazz Smile, Leo Santander, maayong buntag at taga Cebu siguro. Raymond Noha Monsale, Rizel Graves Seco Balagtas, Flor Lopez de Leon, Tonzi Escanio Gray. Si Tonzi to, aking magaling na photographer, Cruhay Antique, Donna Sanidad, Romel Resurrection, Vivian Novedo Sacramento, Billy Joe Andaca, saan magkaroon siya ng teaching skill o magturo sa mga batang Ilocano para di mawala. Turuan mo daw from Billy Joe Andaca, hoping to see it for future generations. Maken, good morning from Mandaluyong. Frances Lozano, Majaw Nakamdag from Island Garden City of Samal. Wow, next time we will feature Region 11 again. She Zafra Labos Maayong Buntag from Davao, way to go. Sesutunawa, Abba from Davao. Riza Vispo Villar, Alfred Anshado, where to order? Sa Instagram nila. Ayan ha. After this, we will present all the art cards of Sesutunawa, of Woven, of Trish and John, as well as Silnag. Silnag means rays of light. Okay, Leo Santander. Sana po ma-promote din yung mga tela ng mga weavers sa Lamitan. Okay, we'll do that in Basilan. Maria Rodora Agustin, Josephine Medjana, Abraham Ambo Garcia, good morning, mahaba. Okay, wag daw gamitin yung artisanal or artisans. I see, referring to the creative works of our IPs and Moro. There is nothing mechanical in their creative works. Okay, he's correcting the use of artisanal. We will read this whole text. Yes, thank you for that. Napakahaba nito. I will forward this to the NCCA and to my staff. Ayaw daw niyang gamitin yung word artisanal, but we will see the appropriate use because we have to respect the intellectual property of our indigenous people. We have to respect the knowledge, the wisdom, the creativity, and the skills. And while it is good that you supply brands and designers, we regard our micro-enterprises that originate from our rural people, including IPs, as designs in itself. And so we go back to Nida. You have more art cards, or we can make it a wrap because it's almost 12 noon. Nida.
Yeah, ayun nga sa ano namin, sa production namin ngayon, medyo nagbawas kami ng tao, but ano lang sila, standby sila. So once na may mga orders, tinatawag din namin sila. And yun nga, so marketing, talagang pinapag-aralan namin kung paano gamitin talaga yung technology, like yun sa Instagram, sa Facebook, sa pagmamarket.
Okay. So, thank you so much to Carl. How will I select kung sino ang makakaroon ng silnag na necklace at basay bag and a bell from Tiboli? So I leave it to the Climate Change Commission. Whoever logged on 1, 2, 3, first, second, and third, we will contact you and put you on Facebook. Aside from my 3 personal gifts, because I wear silnag, I appreciate the Ilocano and Cordilleran traits of Nida. I like her creativity, her skills, her talent, and her humility. My nanay is an Ilocana, and my chief of staff, Yvonne, who passed on, is a great Bontoc person. And so I also appreciate, of course, the people of Samar and Basay and the beautiful artistry of their weaves. And of course, the people of Mindanao who are so creative. I would like to show some of my photos wearing indigenous weaves, promoting our micro enterprises. Do we have that? These were some of the Gamaba awardees that we were with in our trade fairs and in Likhaan in Intramuros. Okay, Nida, Trish, John, and Carl, we will invite you. My staff are listening now for our Creative Resource Center in Intramuros called Likhaan. We see Magdalena Gamayo in a wheelchair here during the launch of Likhaan last year. Ang suot ko ay isang hand-woven patadyong 100 years old wild cotton using natural dye. Ayan, next picture please. Yan ang ating mga Gamaba awardees. Next picture. Ayan. Ang gamit kong yan ay brass belt galing sa South Cotabato at isang traditional antigo na weave galing din sa mga Tiboli. Tinalak yan na abaka. Ayan. She was the head of a UN agency admiring the beautiful tinalak in the National Museum. Ayan. Sa kasayahan namin, sumasayaw kami. Yan. Ang gamit ko naman dito ay patadyong na malong at patadyong na blouse at yan ay habang nagtatrabaho ko sa House of Representatives. And you see the necklace are done by Nida Silnag. You go to her Instagram. Oh, this is the weaving of patadyong in Antique. It could be a lady, it could be a man. Nagpatayo na ako ng weaving center sa Santa Rosario, Barangay sa Pandan, sa Malabor, sa Tibiao, at meron din sa Valderrama. At tinutulungan din natin ang mga ati ng hamtik at ang embroiderer sa San Jose, San Pedrong Barangay. Ito nyo ito ay hindi patadyong, I believe it's abaca or pinya. Ito natin lalaki, hindi naman babae lang ang nag-weave. I would like to say that we have revived the weaving industry in Antique. Kita natin, bawat isang piraso, each fiber. So thank you very much. And it's been a great 3 episodes. 3 episodes where we featured an expert on textile in our first episode on weaving in a grassroots community, the Antica Development Foundation. And then we had designers from Manila and from the cities who actually source their materials from indigenous people and rural enterprises. And we have grassroots organizations, social enterprises who have worked with the communities and who are community-based, community-managed. Thank you so much, Sesutunawa, Silnag, and Woven Crafts for being with us today. Thank you to all our excited Facebook viewers. They are probably wondering, sino kaya ang makakakuha ng Silnag necklace at ng bell na napakamahal na brass made, natatawa siya, o alam niyo tatawad ako, at ang basay bag. Okay, they said that after my closing message, we will flash the art card of the details of all the guests. Very good. So they can purchase. Yes. So I think we should have a part 4 of this because part 1 and 2 and 3, it's never enough. In the meantime, there's much work to be done. I will help sell the bells and the basay bags by always wearing it and perhaps putting up my hand this way in webinars. Natatawa si Nida sa akin. But I'm grateful to the Institute of Climate and Sustainable Cities, to Climate Reality Philippines, to the Mother Earth Foundation. First time yata hindi nag-text sa akin si Sonia Mendoza. To the Climate Change Commission, its very hardworking staff. To my Office of Deputy Speaker Legarda in the House of Representatives. To my Kasiman Waso and Antique who are always watching us. And for those to miss us live on Zoom and Facebook, you can watch it on my Kong Lauren Legarda in Day Lauren Facebook page of 21 episodes. Ayan. So sabihin mo, Carl, sa mga taga South Cotabato, hindi lang ito ang panuurin, lahat para marami tayong matututunan. Ganun din sa mga bagets na guests natin na si Trish at saka si John and the people of Bulacan and Benguet through NIDA. So thank you so much. It's always a joy to tell you the stories of a better normal. And during these times of pandemic, while we innovate, we adapt, marami din tayong opportunities to help each other, opportunities for growth, opportunities to be better persons in this better normal. Thank you very much. Keep safe. God bless. Congratulations to our entrepreneurs, social enterprises. I am here for you. In fact, let me tell the Bilins, Cherie, Tala, Rose, you've seen them. We will help them through our Dole Pangkabuhayan, our DTI Shared Services Facilities, our SLP associations under DSWD, and many more, our NCCA assistance to artisans. Because I hear Carl when he said, wala pa raw government agency ang nagtulong sa kanila. And so, as we say in Antique, duro gid nga salamat. Before I go, we will give away protected areas guidebooks as we always do, and 10 na starter kits for urban gardening from the Department of Agriculture. So we also give away seeds. I think Attorney Ipat Luna can give away seeds and also my seeds. Why do I say that? Because we should save our seeds. Why do we have starter kits? Because we should plant and grow our own food, no matter how small. Maski na sa isang batsa, magtanim lang ng kangkong o alkbati, okay na rin yan. So we will support our bass makers and the Tiboli weavers. We will support the Basay mat weavers, and we will continue to support the people of Benguet and Cordillera, and even the artisans of Bulacan in their enterprises. Thank you so much. Duro gid nga salamat, palangga ko kamo.